Hello, welcome in. Get out the cold. Remember, shoes off at the front door. Get some snacks and come take a seat. And join us here in the Music Shack with both
Ray
and Jack. We're bringing you an exciting week this week, or at least an exciting couple of releases. I'm 14 again. We're back in 2014. We got in a time travel machine and travelled back into 2014, and we are in that era right now.
I know, it's insane.
Feels really
Like
weird.
Miley and Selena releasing on the same day is like a fever dream in 2023. Like, huh?
Yeah, especially because I've not seen Selena in like really ages.
I know. It's crazy. But we will get to that. It's not the first thing on the list, but we will get to that. But the other thing, which is definitely also a 2014 moment, it's actually a 2013 moment, to be exact.
Nice.
But yours truly is 10 years old on August 30th. So we are recording this on August 28th for reference. We always expose the days we're recording this on, but we have to. You are probably watching this on August 31st if you're a real one, and watch it as soon as the podcast comes out, or you're watching it whenever you're watching it. We love you regardless.
So just thanks for watching.
But thanks for watching. Yeah. But no, the point is that it's been 10 years since Ariana Grande released her very first album, Yours Truly. And for those of you who don't know, Ariana's first album was like highly anticipated after her like success on Victorious and everything that she was doing on her YouTube channel and everything, and then her being signed to a record label. Her success was something that was kind of unexpected, because I think Nickelodeon expected Victoria Justice to kind of get that, and then Ariana got it from Victorious, which is crazy. But as an original Ariana stan, like pre Yours Truly Ariana stan, Victorious Ariana stan, it's kind of crazy to me that it's been 10 years since this album, because to me it feels like an eternity ago. And I talk about, like, when we talk about like other albums that I feel like that have been a long time ago as well, like sometimes I feel like, oh, that happened just yesterday. Like when I think to Folklore or something, for example, to me that feels like it happened just yesterday. But then, like this, obviously this is much more long ago than Folklore. Or even like Reputation, like doesn't feel like long ago. But this feels like a really long time ago. And I think it is because Ariana hasn't been making music in a really long time. Obviously she's being an actor, so that's
exciting.
Iconic.
Cannot wait to see it.
I know, right? So, and good for her for doing what she wants to do. Like, I think there's lots of pressure being like, oh my god, we really need a new album from her, but I don't really care that much. Like, if she doesn't want to make music anymore and she wants to do acting as a thing, then, and more musical stuff, like, I don't really care. I will support her regardless, right?
Yeah.
The reason that this album means a lot to me is, like, because I can vividly remember the day that The Way came out. And watching the music video, laying on my bedroom floor while my parents are like, I don't know, being like, you need to do this homework or whatever. And I was insane, because that's how every child's life is. And I can, like, vividly remember the day that The Way came out, which is insane to say that there's a lot of moments in my life from when I was 13 years old that I do not remember, that I probably should. But I do remember this, so...
Remember the important things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's songs on this album that we knew before Yours Truly, and there's songs on this album that were special to Ariana, and they came out with Yours Truly. I think it was really special to me just to see everything, and I remember she did the listening sessions, and a lot of my friends went to listening sessions. I didn't go to the listening sessions because she didn't come to Canada for them, and I wasn't allowed to travel to the US back then because I was 13 years old for a concert, normal shit.
Yeah, how things have changed. That's like the daily occurrence for everybody that's like 13 nowadays, is like traveling across the state in the world.
to see a concert.
Yeah.
But anyway, which is like very normal. I'm not complaining about that. But I just know a lot of my friends went, and like that's like crazy to me to just to think about. It's crazy to me to think about like the friends that I've made because of Ariana. Like just for like reference, when I joined like stan communities or whatever back then, I was part of like Ariana's stan community and One Direction stan community. Not so much Taylor back then. Not that I wasn't a Taylor fan, just I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't as much of a fan online of hers, even though I was like always listening to her music regardless.
Yeah.
And people are gonna attack me for that, but like I just found that like Ariana's community online was really, really welcoming, really accepting, and people say mean shit on the internet nowadays. I feel like her community has become something that it's not.
Yeah.
First, I would say that you listen to yours. I listened to yours truly, like in full, front to back, in preparation for this podcast, but not just because I wanted to, right? As well,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh, this song sounds like 2013. Like
Yeah.
this song sounds like something that would happen in 2013 that like I would never listen to now. And I think that has a lot to do with the production, not with the actual songs.
Right.
I mean, and you could probably agree with that, like listening to it today. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think it's like there's something I'll talk about later with like one of the new releases as well. Like I think it is just very, sometimes artists remind you of that era, but it is mostly like the production, because the production was so like different back then, and it kind of was like a lot more like stripped back. Like there wasn't as much layers to it, or at least I feel like that. Like I feel like music nowadays is like very complicated because
Yeah.
everybody's like it's already got to a point where like you've heard like every single way like the chords could be played, and like so it's like artists are trying to change it and everything so much, where if you go back to like albums like yours truly, for example, or like albums back in like the 2010s and stuff, things are just a lot more like stripped back, and they all have the very similar like sound to them, but like they all sound different in like a sick way.
I
don't even know how to explain it, but like if you've not like listened to yours truly, go back, or like even just any like artist from the 2010s, if you go back and like listen to like an album back then to like like any album nowadays, you'll just hear the difference in production, and like how the quality has had to be like increased tenfold, and like how much layers have had to be added just to like kind of keep people's like attention, and like to kind of reach the charts.
It's funny
nowadays.
because I kind of disagree.
Okay.
Because I agree in a general sense that a lot of 2010s music had that.
Yeah.
But yours truly, in my opinion, didn't really have that. Like, Honeymoon Avenue is a really good example.
Yeah.
So the original version of Honeymoon Avenue has these like beautiful strings, this beautiful sax. Like you can hear every instrument in it. It's absolutely stunning, and I love that. And it sounds more like something that I would listen to today, where like I love hearing instrumentals in songs like that, where you can like hear the music and it doesn't feel like overly produced almost. But like the studio version of Honeymoon Avenue, which is on the album, is what I don't really like it as much, because it has those electro beats in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like, to me, that sounds very 2013. Like, I just wouldn't listen to that now. Like, if that album came out today, I wouldn't listen to it. And I think that's something that Ariana hasn't been able to do. And I don't think it's necessarily because of her. I think it's because of the people who she was influenced by at that age and pressured to make music by, which, like, in a certain way, I think is the reason why her music sounds like that. But it's not as timeless as some other artists from her decade. Like, there are songs like Taylor, for example, that like you fully enjoy still today. And there's very, very few songs from Ariana that I like enjoy as much as I enjoyed it back then. Just because it doesn't have that timelessness anymore. Doesn't mean it's a bad album, and like, we're not hating, by the way.
No.
Like, this is such an important album to me, and it's but I just want to say these things because 10 years down the line, like, things change. And when I talk about the original version of Honeymoon Avenue and the studio version, for those of you who don't know, there was an original version of Honeymoon Avenue that was on Ariana's YouTube and SoundCloud way before Yours Truly came out. And then Honeymoon Avenue ended up being on the album, and it was this newer version. And the recording, she sang for the Live from London sessions that are on the 10-year deluxe version. The Honeymoon Avenue version on there is the original version of Honeymoon Avenue, not the one that's actually on the album, which I thought was a really nice touch, and probably something that most people wouldn't notice unless you're a big fan.
No, I'm loving hearing all this lore and stuff. Like, I listen. It's funny how we're talking about Honeymoon Avenue, because that's like probably one of my like favorite Ariana Grande songs throughout the like her whole discography. Like,
Yeah.
And that, like, I didn't know that, so that it's like really cool. Like, I've listened to Ariana Grande for a while, and like being young at that age when I was like when Victorious was about, obviously you always knew of Ariana Grande, but it's interesting to hear it as someone who is like really like deep in loved like the album and was part of the community.
Insane.
Yeah, just insane. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But actually, I didn't know that. Yeah, no, that's okay.
I just like, I mean, Ariana's community like helped me, into the stan community. They're the reason that I'm like, I would say that this album is like the reason I'm even making this podcast today,
Wow.
because like this album was like what I guess helped me make a lot of friends in the stan community. And most of those people I don't talk to today. Some of them I still do, which is wild.
That is wild. Internet friends, that is wild.
Yeah. And but yeah, like I think it kind of just like helped me feel more confident with other artists as well. Just like, things are different on Twitter now. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
People tended to be nicer. But
Stan Twitter was a completely different game back then.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see that things have changed. While Stan Twitter can still sometimes be a bit scary, it is, and I think it's
people are more accepting.
Yeah, and it's completely okay to be a fan of an artist and not be part of a community or a Stan community. We've said this countless times, but there is that whole opinion of it, and it just doesn't line up. Like, you can be a fan without being fully involved in everything, and there's many reasons people aren't. And I think a lot of like the people in the stan communities now realize that there's reasons why people weren't a part of like things in the past, or just some people just don't feel comfortable doing it. So like, I don't think there should be hate involved around people not being like part of a community or stuff. Like, you can enjoy an artist, support an artist without even connecting with the community. It depends what you're comfortable with.
I completely agree. Anyway, I think we should get into talking about the album, and like I want to talk about 10 years ago, the way I perceived this album and how I perceive it today when I listen to it.
Okay.
I think I look at the track list and like I'm just looking at the track list. I think when the album first came out, the song that I liked the most was Lovin' It, because I don't know, I was 13 and that was like fun to me. And I also really liked Honeymoon Avenue. But with time, I think my favorites are definitely Tattooed Heart and Daydreamin'. Daydreamin' live is like incredible, and I think hearing it like live so many times, same with Tattooed Heart, just like at Ariana shows and stuff, it made me love those songs a lot more. I think it's kind of crazy. I think my opinions have changed because like of exactly what I was saying before. I think just it's more about the production on those songs. Like Daydreamin' and Tattooed Heart have more of a laid back production, which I personally like a lot more than like the electronic kind of vibes of like Lovin' It and stuff, and like my fully least favorite song on this album is Better Left Unsaid. It's just weird because the verses are so good and the chorus just ruins it. And I think 2013 Me actually like didn't hate it, but now I like listen to it, I'm like, I can't help but like laugh.
Oh gosh.
uh
Maybe that was
it's
better left unsaid. You might get attacked for that.
No, I think I won't. I think that's a valid opinion. But like I said, I think it's age, and I
Yeah.
think that like that's why I think that like this album is beautiful and like such a work of art, but it isn't as timeless as some other music made in that decade. And I think honestly, of all of Ariana's albums, Dangerous Woman is going to be the most timeless for me. Like, I still love that album. And I think Thank You Next will probably come close after that, but that probably needs more time for me to officially say this album is like timeless. But for me, I think the reason that Yours Truly isn't timeless is because I don't think Ariana got to make the music the way that she wanted to in this album. I think, and she talked about this in the Q&A a little bit, but you know, at that time she was like being pressured a little bit by her record label and everything, and by like people around her like Scooter Braun, um who like wanted her to work with these like different producers and these big name producers and big name people, like collaborators, which is something that kind of ruined My Everything for her. Like, Ariana hates My Everything because like that album wasn't written by her, it was written by her record label. Like, it was just them pushing her to like do collabs with people to get her like more recognition in the industry, which is like stupid. And Yours Truly is kind of like that too, like working with the Rascals and shit. Like, I just think like, I don't know if Ariana actually wanted to do that. I think, and I'm not speaking for her, granted I don't know that, it's just like the way I understand it. I think that she would have rather it been someone else producing the music, and just like them trying to like leech off of trends and stuff that were it in the time. That's why like TikTok music today, I think, isn't going to be timeless, like, at all. Like, even a song like Kate's Brother, where like it was made for TikTok, right? Like, let's be real. Like, that song is good. That's funny. That song is like, it's made for the time, and we're gonna listen to that song. We listened to that song today, a year later, and we laugh. And like, think about how we're gonna feel about it 5 years from now when like nobody's on TikTok anymore. It's gonna be awful, right? Like, it's gonna be like hilarious. But yeah, I think if you truly want a timeless piece of art, you need to forget about trends and forget about popularity in the time, which obviously isn't what a record label wants, because they want to make money off the music now. They don't care about it like being timeless or something, but it's something to talk about on the 10-year anniversary. I think it's important. Anyway, Jack, what are your favorites and least favorites on this album, and has it changed over the years?
Before we, just when you said that at the end, about like artists being pushed into like releasing stuff that does well, I think this is why like personally I'm such a big fan of indie, because I feel like they have a lot more control to like release stuff that they want to release. Oh yeah,
like, if I think artists that work under independent record labels are 100% like more in control of their work, and I think that that's really special for sure.
So I kind of originally had the thought of, when they release or like re-release albums like this, like it kind of takes you back into that like decade or that time. So it, like when you're re-listening to an album that say was released in like 2013, like if you like actually tune in and listen to it, like your brain goes back to that time. You remember like the first time you played these songs and like what you were feeling and where you were and everything. So I think there's a lot of nostalgia when it comes to these albums, and sometimes the nostalgia can like kind of like pull like a wool over your eyes. So I think sometimes you don't hear like how maybe, like as you said, like timeless these songs aren't, or like things like that, just because you're instantly, your brain's like, oh, this is like this is, I remember this, and this like this song made me happy back then, blah blah blah. But I think like with this album, anybody could expect it. I think it's never going to change and it never will change, but the way is
Yeah.
incredibly important to me, and it's been I don't I'm going to be fully upfront. I don't listen to a lot of Ariana Grande, but a lot of the songs that I do listen to are kind of like the projects with Mac and Thank You Next. I really like Thank You Next as a whole, and Dangerous Women as well.
Oh my god, same favorite.
Definitely The Way, and It'll Never Change is one of my favourites. And that's all I'm going to say, because my brain won't allow me to say any more about Mac and Ariana Grande. But I think for least favourite song, I think it's hard.
You don't want to get attacked on the
Yeah, I'm
internet,
actually scared.
so.
Honeymoon Avenue is also another favourite. I'm just going to list my favourites. Honeymoon Avenue, The Way, Tattooed Heart, and I'm not going to say any ones I don't like because I'm scared. But I think I think what you were saying is right. I think like a lot of record labels, especially with artists that came from like TV shows and everything back then, from like Nickelodeon or Disney, there was like a very like well thought out plan that had already worked for previous people in the past, and I think they rely on it too much. So they have like the songs in the style that does really well that they then put onto like Selena, and then Selena released songs and done things that worked really well with like people in the past, and like Demi, the same thing happened with Demi, and I think these things just happen, and that's
sucks.
Yeah, and they're like a lot of their like prior songwriting.
I honestly think that Sabrina Carpenter was probably the first person to break that of like coming from TV.
Yeah.
And she didn't do exactly what everyone else did, and she's still extremely successful.
Oh yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah, and then like it kind of paved the way for people like Olivia Rodrigo and stuff to also like kind of do their own thing if they wanted to do music even after TV and not feel like, you know, as much pressure. And I think Olivia did that even more and is very successful as well. So it shows like those things didn't have to be the case back then, and obviously culture has changed a lot now, but like I think it didn't have to be the case back then, so it doesn't have to be the case now. And because it's working today, that like artists can feel a lot more musical freedom after, and instead of just following this mold, it makes me quite sad for those artists who like kind of went through that as kids, and you know, now those like things are going to follow them, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about the new Miley and Selena music as well. It's just like, you know, those things like follow you forever, regardless of like how amazing you are doing with your music today.
Yeah, and
it's sad.
It's literally like back then, like what artists call TikTok songs is like the way that artists were kind of forced to, or like put in positions to release music back then. Is like songs that would do really well in the charts, and it followed the same plan, and it had these certain things that would do really well, and it did take away a lot away, like creativity away, but it definitely good to see like artists like Sabrina and Olivia and everything coming out, and it's like they're not being pressured as much to release things, or like that they're getting like their whole like creative vision taken away from them. And it is really nice to see the industry has kind of changed, and I hope it only gets better that way, because why not? Like, they're the ones with the talent, so let them like do what they do best, and like just perform. And
I think it's quite sad. I mean, you are seeing it, like, you're right, like we're seeing it today with TikTok artists as well, and I actually think it's kind of crazy, because I feel like Taylor, with all of her stuff being like very self-written and things, and obviously she had label pressures as well too. I'm not saying that she didn't, but like compared to some of the artists that came from TV, like Miley, Selena, Ariana, like I think she had less. And it's that's just how I see it. I don't like, we don't know the truth. We don't know what happened behind the scenes. That's just how I see it. Especially because those artists came from TV, and they're like, I think it's kind of crazy how like Taylor has like exploded in popularity now because people see her like older music as like very authentic. And it's funny to me because I think that other artists could have that same potential with their older music if they made it more timeless, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I think it's okay. I mean, it's still really nice to like reminisce on yours truly and everything. And speaking of reminiscing on yours truly, Ariana has been doing a bunch of stuff. So she released the live versions of a few songs, and she's going to be releasing more throughout the week. The audios are already on the deluxe version on Spotify, but the videos are going to be released on her YouTube channel every day. So far we've gotten Honeymoon Avenue, Daydreamin', and Baby I. And later we will get Tattooed Heart Right There and The Way. But
You will not see me on the release day of The Way. I will be gone.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. I know. I think something that I really want to say is it's crazy. Like these videos, I absolutely love them. The live versions, I absolutely love. I love hearing the band. Ariana in all of her tours, since the very very start. Unlike, she's had like a huge band with her always. With like, she's had like a string quartet and sax players and like. Oh, it's one of my favorite parts of hearing her live, like hearing those musicians play that kind of music with her beautiful voice on it. I just like absolutely stunning. So like having that like full band with her doing this music, it touches home for me. I love it. Something that I will say is that her vocal training from doing like Wicked and like musical kind of singing, like you have to be very good at enunciating, which is something that people always make fun of Ariana for.
Yeah.
But you can really hear how much she's improved on that in the live versions of these songs, which is really nice. I absolutely love it.
Like, we're actually not ready for a world that has Ariana Grande at the vocal strength she will be at after like this Wicked stuff in her next album after that. Like,
oh my god,
we're not
it's
ready.
crazy.
Very like honestly one of the most talented like artists of her like generation, and it is like that was like I guess her only like I feel like the only thing that would ever be like brought up about her voice is the like the
enunciation. Yeah.
So we're not ready.
Yeah, we're not ready because her voice is so strong. I mean, like that's what she's always been known for, is her vocals. So yeah, I think it's crazy. She's also done some Q&As on TikTok. A few notable things that she did talk about in the Q&A. She talked about there's one question that was like, what would Positions Ari say to, like, what advice would Positions Ari give to yours truly, Ari? And what she said was, make sure to say no and ask for days off when you need it. And I just think every single young artist probably goes through that, like being like, shipped off to different countries every day to do promo, to play at different places. And like it can get tiring, I imagine. And like obviously, like maybe a lot of those things is the reason she has been as successful as she is, like doing that when she was so young. But it's still like sad a little bit to see like that.
Like, you're not even like getting a proper rest on the road as well. Like, no matter how much you travel or tour, there is no way like anybody ever can get like a proper rest like when they're on tour, to compare to like, even like a rest day at home would do so much better than like a rest day on the road. But it's very drilled into artists, I think. Like when you see like an artist start to pop off, it's like they instantly like, or you see them like booking as much as they can, and it's sad because it's like obviously there's a lot of pressure behind them, and obviously they want to do it as well, because then it's like piggybacking like off the success of like their recent success, so they're trying to like garner that audience and keep them and like elevate it at the same time. But it is like, especially when you're that young, like I feel like there was, especially back in 2013, is like there was nobody really like speaking out about really anything like mental health and stuff, and you would just get on with it like so much more than you do nowadays. Like I feel like artists are definitely a lot different now, where some might still not feel comfortable in like stopping or like breaking, having a break or whatever, but it is like a lot better now than it was, because I can't, obviously wasn't there when Ariana Grande was like doing all this stuff, and like just maybe wasn't able to do it, or like maybe just wanted a break, but like you could probably imagine like how much she really needed it at certain points, and just maybe didn't feel like she even had the possibility to like I just need to slow down, like I just need an extra day or something, like something so small as that. But it's very hard. That's sad though.
It is really sad, but it's like it's good to see her like on kind of on the other side of it. Another really funny thing from the Q&A is when so there was an original cover art. I don't know if you know, Jack. I'm going to send it to you right now.
Okay.
This is the original cover art, and Jack will put it on the screen for YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the original Yours Truly cover art, and it got posted, and then all of the fans were like, "We hate this." So she changed it to the actual one. And so somebody asked her about that and like why she changed her mind and like whatever. And she said this. She said, "Well, it's horrible. It's not horrible. It is. You were right. You guys got very angry when you saw it. I was very sad about that and I changed it. Oh. You were right. But you're not always right. Your bullying has been consistent for the past 10 years.
Oh, that is so funny. But we have to thank them for that, because the other
honestly,
one was so good.
I remember that. And I'm like, yeah. Like now, like thinking about it, like, ugh, yeah, thank God.
Why is it
thank God that wasn't the album.
Yeah, it's like, see, if you look at it, it's literally just like stereotypical, like 2013, like.
Yeah, it's off. Remember how we talked about this album isn't timeless? Well, at least the album cover is timeless.
That is true.
Thank God.
The thing is, see, if she released, if that was the album cover for that, what would it have been for, like, because if, I feel like, obviously, the one she changed it to is, like, black and white-ish, and then she kind of went with that, and, like, My Everything, and, like... And
then Sweetener was her first not black and white
so do you
album,
think she would have went a different lane if this one didn't get as much hate?
Maybe. Oh, it's interesting to know. And then one other fun thing that she did say was essentially the way music video was made, like without the label, without anybody, it was like they had a guy with a camera and they had like Scotty and Brian and they had like balloons and a green screen and some lights, and they just made it on like $5 budget, which is insane. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, literally insane and so fun, because I love that music video. So, like, it's fun that's the case. It's kind of crazy because I think it's like, yeah, it shows like the most of her personality and stuff as well. So that's nice, I think. Yeah, so the Q&A was good, and I think, yeah. Don't know what to say.
Thanks for answering questions, Ariana Grande. Sorry for.
We didn't ask.
No, I asked that one. Yes. I asked that question. That was me. Yeah. I got an Ariana Grande notice. You jealous?
I mean, I have had an Ariana Grande notice
Flex for flexing on me.
She used to follow me on Twitter.
Okay, right, now you're just flexing.
Now she doesn't have a Twitter.
That is actually so sad. Like, what do you even... Did you take screenshots of it before?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Frankie Grande follows me on Twitter too.
Oh, so. We love that. Yeah, we actually do love that. That is iconic. That's iconic. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's it for like the Yours Truly stuff. She released some merch, which was actually really cute. Taylor's team could never release cute merch like that. Like, it is cute.
Yeah. It's really cute.
So that's fun. But yeah, that's kind of it for like 10 years of Yours Truly. I hope that Ariana releases new music soon, and I hope that... I think there's one thing I want to say.
Okay.
Is that the reason that like I don't like talk about her or like, you know, stan her as much as I used to, I guess I would say, isn't because like, I don't know, I'm fake or something. It's just because like I think her music was good until like Thank You Next, kind of, and then like even like Sweetener was like meh for me at the time. And I think Positions was like kind of the thing that was like, okay, like I just don't like this anymore. Like this isn't for me, because it almost felt like Positions just like, you know, at that, when Positions came out, I was like 20. I didn't want to hear an album all about sex. I'm not like 16 anymore. Not that her old albums were all about sex. I mean, like my two favorite Ariana albums, like Dangerous Woman and Thank You Next, are like her two least albums all about sex, which is like why I like them so much, probably.
Yeah.
But like, I just think that what happened with Ariana is she found something that worked for her, and she stuck with it, and she didn't decide to grow with her fan base. So her fan base just got younger and younger and younger, because she was always catering to the same age of people.
Yeah.
And as I grew up, I grew out of it. Whereas with someone like Taylor, she grew with her fans. Her music grew with her fans. And today, we can listen to her music and feel like we love it and relate to her music today. And then also listen to her older music and think, wow, like, you know, 16-year-old me is like still relating to this. And like, that means a lot to me. And I think that with Ariana is like her music stood still and let people join and leave, whereas Taylor moved with her fan base. And I think, I don't think there's a wrong approach to it. It's just like me explaining myself to be like why I don't necessarily listen to her music anymore. And I'm willing for her to prove me wrong. I will listen to all of her music, like that she releases. Like if she releases a new album soon, I will listen to it. I will give it a chance. And if it's, I barely listen to Positions, to be honest. Like I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I listened to it a few times and just didn't stick, and then I never really listened to it. So like, if she's willing to put out an album that I absolutely love and like prove me wrong, then I will be gladly proven wrong.
No, I think you've summed it up perfectly. Like, that's it is as much as like that's what she's obviously enjoys writing, or like that's what she like sings and everything. It is like you've said like perfectly. I think with the whole like she's catered to an audience that like that focus has stayed stagnant, whereas the audience and the fan base have grown. So it is kind of just like left them behind. But yeah, you summed it up really like probably better than like I've seen someone put. But it is true. And
thank you.
okay, you're just taking notes from the biggest. What do you call Ariana Grande fans? Is it Arianators?
Yeah, Arianators.
Arianators, yeah.
Anyway,
Iconic.
shall we talk about the new Miley and Selena song, Jack? Or well, they're two different songs. One is Miley, one is Selena. They didn't make a song together.
A collaboration. That would be. I don't think we're even ready for that. Okay, what first? Let's go with Miley's. This is probably the least I've listened out of both of them. Plot twist, or not plot twist. I can't get my words right today. But Selena Gomez was one of the first people I ever like started listening to like properly.
Oh
like,
my god.
Fan
Like
wise.
me with Ariana and like you with
yeah, like
Selena,
I had
which
Taylor.
is crazy.
But like pretty much like the first person who I was like who wasn't Taylor Swift that I was like like that much into.
Love that.
So Miley Cyrus used to be young. It was a very different like I don't know what I was expecting. I think going from like Flowers and stuff to like this was like I just didn't know what it would be. The pacing was so strange. Like the pacing was like a lot slower.
I agree. I think I was kind of expecting it, but it's a nice ballad. Like I think the meaning of it is really nice.
Yeah, no, fully. It was just like I think just going on to it, like and listening to it was just like a shock. Like it was not a shock, but it was like a nice surprise. But so it's very like slow. It's the message behind it is like also good. And it is very different to like I mean we've seen like so many different phases and like sides of Miley throughout the years. And this is definitely like a topic she's definitely spoke on before, but I think it's easy to get like so lost in our discography because everything's so different. But this is nice, and I don't know if this means that the stuff coming up from Miley is going to be like this, or if this is a one-off.
I think it's probably a one-off, right? Because Flowers was kind of like that. Maybe this like whole era will be like that.
Well, it just the way this song, what this song talks about is like very, it's exciting because if the rest of the album's not like this pace or anything, but if it's like an album about her, like just pretty much like allowing herself to accept the past and like realize that like while obviously she like it was a lot, like she doesn't regret it, and she was her like her authentic self at that point in time. Like that's like it's like she's let go of everything, and if this is what the album's going to be, then that's so exciting because I think that's where you get the most out of an artist, is where they kind of feel free finally, and like don't have any like regrets or anything about the past. Because this so it used to be.
But this is like a reissue, right? Because Endless Summer Vacation already came out. I'm like I don't follow Miley that much, so I'm asking.
Not in your dad, so I'm gonna quote
Okay.
I'm gonna quote Genius here. Much like promotion for the first single, Endless Summer Vacation, Flowers, Cyrus started teasing Used to Be Young with posters with iconic verses from previous singles on August 14th. In celebration of my new single release, Endless Summer Vacation, Backyard Session continues. I love you for loving every version of me, always Miley. Yeah, I think it's just
it's like a vault track.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's cool.
But it's a nice one.
I don't know. I don't know how else to describe it. That's how I like
right.
took it when you said it.
No, yeah, you're right. It's like
okay.
Yeah, we're not like this is another artist that we just listen to for fun. Like we're not.
Yeah, we're not like stans. You know, like when you listen to an artist just to listen to them, but you don't like follow everything. That's us. Yeah. Right now, so.
But
we're sorry.
Yeah, we like Miley, but it's just we're not. This is the problem with this because we want to fill everybody in and like update and.
We didn't do enough research because we're stupid.
we're really busy during the week, right? Or whoever needs to do the research and needs to like a blurb.
We need somebody to like give us a blurb. Honestly, anyway. That's fun. And yeah, I think it was pretty good. I think the meaning of the song, like, it goes back to exactly what we were saying about like young Disney artists, and like they're held to completely different standards as other people and all of this kind of stuff. And it's nice that it's nice that she's able to like put that into a song and everything. I think it's quite touching, and maybe not the most like relatable thing for the general public, but it's still like something that everybody remembers. Like everybody remembers when Miley did like the wrecking ball shit, and like that wasn't even like that bad, but the general public took it a little bit too far. But everyone remembers that. And so like, you know, now being like disconnected from it for so long to like release a song like this, it's quite touching.
Oh yeah, you're right, and it's sometimes a nice window into like how an artist is feeling. You don't hear from them too often
for
about
sure.
this stuff, so it definitely was a shock, like everything coming from like. But then again, it's only a shock because because she was told to follow this pattern that worked with other releases from different people that were like from TV.
Yeah.
So like it was just a shock because she came from that. And like just pretty much discarded it and done her own thing, and that's why it was a shock to everybody. So like sick that she was able to like just be like, nah, I'm not doing that, and do her own thing. Like it's not everybody's thing, but at least like if it made her happy and if it was like what she wanted to make at that time, then that's so fun.
Yeah, we love that.
Now on to another. It's really weird because this song was also originally written for Rare. And then discarded. So
there's another vault track. Wow.
Yeah, look at everybody's doing them now. They're so cool. But actually, I would love this. See if people would just release like old songs from like albums that we love. That would be so good. So she quoted, "You all have been asking for new music for a while. Since I'm not quite done with SG3, I wanted to put out a fun little song I wrote a while back that's perfect for the end of summer. And she's right, because it is perfect for the end of the summer.
It is. It's such a vibe.
It is.
I love this song.
It's pretty much, again, what we go back to. I feel like Selena Gomez's music is very reminiscent of like older pop music, and
Oh yeah.
it's just like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just a vibe.
So good.
And the music video for it as well, awesome. And obviously it's produced by Benny Blanco and Cashmere Cat. Benny Blanco works on like every single song that's popped off, and I don't.
Cashmere Cat is. I love Cashmere Cat, so it's not like surprising that I like this song too. So.
Yeah, I've never even realized. Are they usually okay? I never realized they worked on so much stuff with like Benny at the same time. They've got like obviously their own stuff as well, but there's like a lot of songs that are like. Okay, that's sick. Okay, I'm not too much into the producer world. I know Benny because of like an artist I really like is like they're like friends and that's
Yeah.
But Single Soon is very fun. It's just kind of like you know what? Okay, so see when this was announced, I didn't understand. I thought she meant she would have a single coming out soon.
You said that last week.
Yeah, okay. And that's true. Like I actually did think that. But it was once I understood the meaning of it, you can kind of get a feel for what the song's going to be by the lyrics, by the song title.
Yeah.
And I don't think she disappointed here, and it's just a bop.
It's good.
And we seen Taylor like kind of break her like Instagram like promotion streak, and
I mean, she would do anything for Selena.
that's true.
So
It's iconic.
I'm not surprised, and it's iconic that she used "Methinks" because
I love that.
that girl's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Where is she? Where's her freaking burner account?
Methinks. It's so
But
funny.
yeah, anyway, really good song. Absolutely love.
Yeah, it was just a wee flashback to like to 2013, 2014. There's not too much to say because it is just like these songs are written and were like meant to be released previously, so they are written for like kind of albums and like projects released in the past.
But this song definitely does fit on Rare. Like I think if it was on Rare, I wouldn't think like, oh, this is out of place or weird. Like it's nice to see like a song that's so good that was like left on the cutting room floor just to like see the light of day. Like
it's scary because this must happen for so much. Like think of the songs we're not.
Oh, it happens so much. Like I mean, I remember when Good Enough came out from Maisie, and I'm sorry I'm bringing it back to this. Just like I think she wrote Good Enough like 2 years before it came out or whatever, and like the producer, on Good Enough was like, you know, we wrote this song just for fun, and we never thought that anybody would hear it, and it's like that's crazy to think about. Like there are so many songs that artists just sit down and write because they feel like writing, because that's their hobby, that's their passion, and they make music, and nobody ever gets to hear it because it doesn't fit with an album release cycle or it doesn't fit with an album's vibe, and it's just there. It's just a song that we might never hear. And like there are so many songs like that from so many artists, and it makes me happy that like Taylor's done the vault track thing and kind of encouraged other artists to do the same, which is really nice because like obviously we're never going to hear everything, but it's nice to have extras.
Yeah, keep it coming. Genuinely, I'm here for it. Talk about Taylor. Taylor Mexico.
Mm-hmm. So Taylor played in Mexico City the last 4 nights. Very fun. The crowd there was insane. Yes. So loud. And I think it kind of goes to show, like, obviously in a country where Taylor has never been before, the energy is going to be like that. Like, so much more exciting. And I think Taylor's going to so many countries she's never been to before on this tour. So I'm really excited to see that energy, like, carry over into all of those different countries that she hasn't been to yet. Before, and like so many people who probably have never had opportunities to see Taylor, getting that opportunity is really exciting. So if you're going to one of those shows, I would love to hear your experience. So if you're going to any show, whether it be like a country Taylor's never been to or a country Taylor has been to, so you can tweet at us, DM us your stuff. We will, like, if you have videos that you take at Taylor shows, at any concerts or anything, and you want us to talk about it on the podcast,
Yeah.
or like you want to share it with us, you can join our Discord, send it to us, you can tweet it at us, you can DM us on our personal accounts, on our podcast account. We see everything. We are not that famous, so we see everything.
No,
But yeah.
it's been really fun. I think you see the reactions from these people, and it's sad that it's taken this long, but it is really exciting that like we get to, through the power of social media, experience like their reactions with them for the first time, and it is really sweet because it's just like they're so happy and like and
it's like a whole stadium. Like, obviously there are people in there who have seen Taylor before,
yeah.
but majority, because it's a country she's never been to, majority of the people in there have probably never seen Taylor before, which is crazy and like and really exciting. And they, you know, Mexico was just like they opened like the arena next door, and people were like sitting in that arena and like singing along as well, which is so freaking amazing. Like, Taylor literally selling out like a stadium and an arena next door, which is like, which doesn't even have view of anything, literally just sound. She's wild. And then surprise songs wise, it's interesting for me because she sang I don't know exactly, I'm missing it, but each night she sang one midnight song and then one other song that she hadn't played before. And I'm wondering, like, because she's doing so many more days now, if she's like gonna do one midnight song every night to like make up for, like, to like stick with these made up rules that she made up anyway and have never been a thing on previous tours that she's done surprise songs.
It, like,
but
she'd honestly be better just to run through them all and then start again.
Honestly, that's what I thought. I thought, okay, maybe like started 2024, she's gonna just start again, and like she'll do different songs for like the Latin America dates because that's still in 2023. But she done 4 midnight songs and then 4 other songs. So interesting. They got like Afterglow, Cornelia Street, which we never thought Taylor would play Cornelia Street, but she played it. And she played it, interestingly, not to be a drama, not talk about drama, but like Joe's in New York right now, and she was playing Mexico, and then she played Cornelia Street, which is like, you know. Anyway, that's fun. We're really happy for the Mexican fans, and it seemed like such a good time. The crowd was crazy, so yeah, that's fun. Another big thing is there was a movie trailer that had a snippet of Look What You Made Me Do, Taylor's version, which, Jack, what were your thoughts on that? I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm a rep girly, so
it sounds awesome, and there is people that are like, oh, I can't tell the difference, and I get that. Like, it is hard in a trailer, but you can hear the production like changes and stuff.
But also like some production changes are like on scores as well, so it might not be like fully, but you can hear it. But yeah,
it does sound, I think when we ever get a new re-recording, it just sounds a lot more mature. Like, her voice is grown even since rep. Like, I think you can just hear the way she pronounces things and the way she like sings certain things, and it's really exciting. And
I think people are thinking about like how like Fearless original versus TV sounds. It's like, yeah, I mean that was so much longer before rep. Like, obviously they're gonna sound a little more similar because her voice is more similar to her like rep voice than to her like Fearless voice, for example. So yes, it's gonna sound similar, but like isn't that the point?
Yeah, like people are complaining that Fearless and like they're worried, and I'm one of the people that are worried about debut, and like obviously they're gonna sound so different. But there's people that are like complaining that they sound really different, but then like the whole point of it is to try and make them sound as similar as possible, because it's like it's to try and like not to like take anything away from the original albums. It's to like just like pretty much own the albums in her own way, like, and the way she sung them originally is sometimes the way she obviously like wants them to be done, so like she's gonna try and keep them to as much as she can originally, but she does go through and change like certain things, but that's just again like her maturing and her like her vocals and stuff improving over the years since she released the album. She realized she could maybe do a bit more in certain areas or do certain things, but the whole point of it was to make them sound as similar as possible, so people are never happy, to be honest. So yeah,
we are excited for Rep TV, which is coming next August.
Nice.
if I keep saying it, it'll happen,
right? Yeah.
Anyway, 2 years of You Signed Up For This is our last topic of this week.
Iconic.
You Signed Up For This was released 2 years ago yesterday, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, this album means a lot to me. This album connected me to Maisie fans.
Love that.
Which is like most of my life nowadays. Like a lot of my friends are Maisie fans, you know, like a lot of my friends I know because of Maisie. A lot of my best friends I know because of Maisie now. And it's like this album was the reason that I know those people. I met them in freaking You Signed Up For This tour queues, and like I don't know, and like this album is like, it means so much to me. And like a debut album of an artist, like comparing it to yours truly as well, like a debut album of an artist that you love so much, it's just like nothing will ever come close, that you've like been waiting for, because like you've been a fan before that and stuff, is like nothing will ever come close to that for me. And that's really exciting and special. And I am very proud of Maisie for releasing another album in that time, which is crazy. And you know how many more people, like You Signed Up For This for me was like really Maisie's career taking off. Like I think like I'm Trying and stuff was like kind of like her first like TikTok viral kind of song.
Yeah.
What kind of got her growth, and then Kate's Brother and everything like that after that. So but You Signed Up For This was like the launching pad for all of that, and for her to be able to do all of this stuff today. You know, she got to tour with Ed and everything like that, and that's so exciting. And it's crazy that it's been 2 years. It does not feel like 2 years.
I don't even know when did you, was it the end of 2021 that you introduced, or was it the start of 2022? I can't remember, but it's been really fast.
I think it was the start of 2022.
Was it? Yeah. Oh yeah, because
Maybe.
it
No.
came out in.
Yeah.
I think it was. I'm trying to think back, but
it came out in 2021. I think it was either the end or the start of something around there that I told you about Maisie. Yeah.
So it's not been like as long for me, but it's I think I still to this day prefer You Signed Up For This over The Good Witch, just because of how many songs on You Signed Up For This are more I just have like a lot of meaning to me. I very like going from like Maisie's singles and original like EPs and stuff to You Signed Up For This. There was like a definitely jump in styles for some songs and everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's like something that worked out really well. Like you go back to her old stuff, you love it, like it's so good, and then you go to like You Signed Up For This, such a jump, but it is like so many amazing songs. Like I don't think there's ever a skip on like there's not a skip, and there's not a skip on The Good Witch either. But then you jump from You Signed Up For This to The Good Witch, and there is still like a jump there, but everything sounds amazing. The album is so awesome. What's your favourite song, quickly, before like, so what was your favourite song originally to now?
Villain and Villain.
Villain and Villain. Okay, that's iconic. No, that is good, because mine is Talking to Strangers and Talking to Strangers, so it's literally not changed.
Love that. Love that.
We have such good taste. Wow. But
I know.
Volcano, also a good song. Villain, amazing song. Outdoor Pool, just like everything. Like Hollow, yeah. And Boy, even though she doesn't really like Boy, I just want to hear Boy live, and I've not, and I'm sad.
Oh, it's Boy live is so good. You didn't go to the Ed tour? She sang it on the Ed tour. Sad.
I know. She's back on tour with Ed right now, which is fun. It's like a full circle.
In America, yeah.
Yeah.
Different set list though. But yeah, because Boy was on the You Signed Up For This tour set list, but she didn't do headline shows in the UK or Europe for You Signed Up For This tour. She just did Ed shows. Well, she did. I think she sang Boy in the UK during her You Signed Up For This release shows, but anyway, that was
OG enough.
You weren't.
You didn't introduce me fast enough, Ray.
I'm sorry. Anyway, she will. You got to hear You're Just a Boy and I'm Kind of the Man. I mean, so did I. But yeah, close enough.
Yeah, that is true, actually. If you're not a Maisie fan, listen to Maisie. Honestly, I don't think there'll be anybody that regrets listening to Maisie after hearing her for the first time.
I think that's it for today. We will see you guys. I think next week we're gonna do not gonna have an episode next week, but we will have an episode the week after.
Yeah.
We will talk about Olivia's new album then, which is so exciting.
That's exciting. I'm gonna be a London boy next week, so. And
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing about Taylor.
yeah.
You mentioned London Boy and it just clicked in my head. Sorry. It was the first 4 shows that Sabrina opened for Taylor.
Yeah.
And a lot of her nonsense outros were like clean. 3 out of 4 of them.
Yep.
It was funny, but they were good. I mean, I don't know how she's gonna do it playing like 7 nights in a row in a city, but it'll be fun.
I said to my friend that I don't know if this will be the same for her shows in like 2 years' time, but Nonsense is like one of her most popular songs, so I feel really bad because I feel like for the next like at least like maybe 1-2 tours, Nonsense is gonna have to be a song on there, and she's gonna have to come up with different outros for every single show.
Every
and
time.
she's only gonna get bigger and do more shows, and it's like how are you gonna do that?
It's hilarious.
Because there is only so much things you can say, but the set is stunning. Sorry, I had to say that the black and white and the stylization of it is so
the
cool.
picture to burn intro.
Yes.
So fun. Sorry, we didn't talk about that. I forgot about it until this moment. I'm sorry.
No, it was a good callback because that is iconic. But check out
the
podcast on any podcast platform. I'm really bad at this. Or YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Do it. We'll get back on the shorts and everything. Been slacking, but
I hope you guys liked my Maisie concert videos from a while ago, though. They're fun.
Yeah, they were really fun. It was like I've never been at Barricade before, but I was able to see Barricade Maisie, and that was fun. If you've not seen it, go check out the shorts. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you not next week, but the next 2 game week. Maybe Olivia stuff we'll see, but bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.